G'day, or as you say in Denmark, good day. I'm Alec Jack and I'm the third generation of our family to farm this 563 hectare beef finishing property. We use Herefords out of Friesians here as breeding cows and also use easy calving Hereford bulls over our first calving heifers. We value their calving ease, their subsequent growth rates and their calm temperament. Here in the far north of New Zealand we finish all our cattle on all grass systems. We are blessed with a kind climate which is ideally suited to low cost year-round pasture production. We have an annual net carcass weight production of 350 to 400 kilos of carcass weight per hectare, and this is achieved using cattle to harvest grass all year round. Our store stock are bought in the autumn and early spring, weighing anything from 150 to 400 kilos live weight. Our finished cattle are processed at the end of spring and again pre-winter. Their finished age is variable depending on their source, but it is generally 20 to 30 months of age and they weigh about 600 kilos live weight. That's 320 kilos carcass weight. The key to all grass finishing is being able to feed cattle well through the winter in spite of reduced pasture growth rates. Using electric fencing and GPS mapping technology, the manipulation of rotation length is one of our best tools. By increasing the time between grazings, or slowing down the rotation speed, and controlling animal intakes while pasture is still growing well in the autumn, we are able to build up pasture covers. We call this a feed wedge. When the pasture is grazed well in the autumn, the light getting to the base of the ryegrass ensures good tiller survival and a dense pasture sward which maximises the utilisation of the sun's energy. We aim to start the winter in May with an average pasture cover of 2,400 kilograms of dry matter per hectare and a rotation length of 50 to 60 days. This is achieved by slowing the rotation speed gradually through April. This high cover level is maintained through May before being progressively mined through the slow growth winter months by speeding up the rotation. In this way we arrive in early spring with a rotation length of 24 days and a greatly reduced pasture cover of about 1,600 kilograms of dry matter per hectare. Because the cattle have been on restricted intakes through the short winter period, they have strong compensatory growth potential and a relatively insatiable appetite which enables them to consume all the spring flush of pasture growth and maintain the pasture in a high-quality, short, leafy state. We manage the risk of summer droughts by always having some saleable cattle on hand. To ensure these systems do not impact on our waterways, we match appropriate stock classes to the farm's differing land types. Because young cattle contaminate the pastures they graze through summer and autumn with intestinal parasites' eggs, we must plan ahead to ensure that vulnerable young stock are not wintered on those areas. This means older cattle, which produce very few intestinal parasite eggs, must be grazed through the summer on those areas which we have identified as requiring light winter stocking with young store or feeder cattle. This practice minimises our animal health costs as well as soil pugging damage. Our rotation lengths are set slightly longer than actually required so that in heavy rainfall events cattle can be shifted onto fresh pasture more frequently. This also reduces pugging damage. Trees such as poplars are well suited to riparian areas and are planted along waterways and fence lines to provide shade and shelter for the cattle. They also prevent the escape of valuable nutrients from the pastoral system. Nutrients such as phosphate and nitrogen are expensive to replace and would harm the ecology of our waterways if we were not focused on mitigating that risk. The long grass associated with these fenced-off trees filter and capture the surface movement of nutrients attached to soil particles. As these grasses mineralise, those nutrients are slowly fed to the trees. Even trees well away from the waterways act as preliminary filters of nutrients which have slipped below the pasture root zone. And every 20 to 30 years, all those nutrients will be sold in the form of clear wood timber. The fencing off and exclusion of livestock from our waterways also prevents direct pollution from urine and dung, and eliminates the accelerated erosion of the banks. Most importantly though, we use a computer-modelled nutrient budget to determine the optimum economical and environmental fertiliser program for our property. On our farms, good environmental policy makes good economic sense. So enjoy your conference, farewell, or as you say in Denmark, farvel.